I want one volunteer first to tell me one revenue source that you would like to try to develop for one organization who came up with a revenue source that you don't have at all today. You have zero today, that you want to have some income in 3 to 5 years. Who's got an example of something you don't have at all today, but want to have 3 or 5 years down the road? Okay.
Jedan izvor koji nemate sada, želim da ste kroz 3 ili 5 godina da bi imate.
Andreas has volunteered you. Andreas has volunteered you to share with us one source that you don't have today, but you want to have in the future. She said you would share.
Andrea also promised some funding, so...
Lokalnih fondacija. Lokalne fondacije, pošto sad nemamo od lokalne fondacije ništa.
So funding
local foundations.
Individualne donacije. Individualne smo stavili što nemamo, biznis smo stavili što nemamo i lokalne fondacije smo stavili od onoga što nemamo. I eventualno fee for services kao naplaćivanje servisa.
Okay, so that's actually four different sources. Local individuals, local businesses, local foundations, and fees for services. Who has one of the other sources that wasn't one of those? Okay, somebody else have either membership or business or something else that you're not doing now that you will do in the future.
Well, we're
Talk loud.
still thinking, because we are in a specific situation that we are an organization that is 20 years of experience, and at the beginning it was founded by 40 prominent people, scholars, experts from various fields of work. So we are maybe thinking, because they always want to be involved, and somehow maybe thinking of some membership fee at this moment, but we still don't know how it will affect. But we have some other idea with them, and we put it in actually the category of gifts and grants, if we understood it right. So, because they are experts in their fields, maybe we can use them to contribute with their expertise.
Wonderful.
So we already have some projections of what instead of outsourcing, yes, or in the project-based budget. So.
Great. Okay, so they have something that will serve a dual goal, right? Maybe they'll get contributions. They'll be cultivating these people who were close to them at an earlier time and want to stay involved and stay close, right? And they're going to defray some of their costs by using these people as expert volunteers, basically, or donated services. Great, great. I wish we were going to have more time right now, but I'm really good about staying on track. But I want to share a few things that I ended up sharing with people around the room as they were, asking questions and struggling with things. Number one, the most important one is always start from and stay with the most positive side of what you do. Now, let me try to explain that a little bit. People do not give to need. Let me say that again. People do not give to need. You think they do. They don't. People give to opportunity. People give to make things better than they are today. So when you phrase your missions, or when you go out to talk to people, or when you have a campaign, I urge you to put everything in the positive. I was back at this table where they have a very difficult mission, right? They're dealing with security forces and police forces and things that we don't usually associate, especially here, with the most positive things we can think of, right? In fact, quite the opposite. But their mission statement is about creating safety and freedom, and I may have missed a few words, but let's just think about, let's hold up safety and freedom rather than creating and dragging ourselves down with the negatives that could be associated with their mission. Does that make sense and resonate at all? Okay, so that's the first thing. Second thing is, when you are looking for people to donate, a lot of people were struggling with, how do we find these individuals? And we talked some about that, and I can't remember your name in blue, but she found the book that I was talking about, and the two categories I left out were, wait a second, dynasty, people who give because it's a family tradition, and what was the other one I left out? Oh. Anyway, we don't need to find it, but she's found the book. She'll share with the rest of the group. But the other principle is two other principles. Number one, everybody was saying, okay, all the people are corrupt, all the businesses are corrupt, we can't deal with them. Basically people were saying that. Start by thinking about one or two people or one or two businesses that you know to be clean, and start there and build from there. That's another way of thinking about this positive piece. So I was saying, in the U.S. we have Ben and Jerry's ice cream, right? It's ice cream. How corrupt can ice cream in Vermont be, right? So you can think, you can find businesses and individuals, even here, who are not, from a history or a place of corruption. The third thing is, when you're looking for individuals or companies to donate, break down the categories as narrowly as you can. So they were talking about former interns. You guys are talking about former experts. Make those categories small and narrow, and then target what appeals to that group. And then take on the next group and target what appeals to that group. So the more narrowly you can break it down, the more successful you will be. Okay, we are almost at the finish line. But the finish line is the very most important part. We have a sheet that's called Sustainability Plan Worksheet. You do not get Shannon's stamp of approval until at some future time your team has filled out this worksheet. Because we all know one thing in this life. And the one thing in this life is it's great to put down the numbers. It's great to say we're going to contact our experts. It's great to say we're going to have funds from individuals and foundations and businesses in our community. And we're going to have a percentage of funds raised by our members of our coalition. And it's whatever your things that you put on your pieces of paper. It's great to say that. The question is, who's going to do it? What are they going to do between now and 3 years from now, starting now? What are you going to do starting now to make that happen? What are the activities? Who is responsible? And when? Okay? This is the action plan. This is the action plan. So I'm going to call on this group because I know their action plan starts day after tomorrow. Am I right about that? Next week. Okay, Monday. Tuesday, probably Tuesday. When are you getting together?
On Friday.
Friday next week.
Yes.
We are giving them 7 days to start. Okay? They are starting in 7 days. Talk about what you're going to do in 7 days.
Well, actually,
7 days from now. Condense it, simplify it, but talk about it.
Very quickly, we agreed that we are going to call our members and we're going to present them, of course, the concepts. And actually, the training on individual and corporate philanthropy in Serbia is done by Vuka and myself, and never for the coalition, where I'm a member of the board. So we would like to change that. We are going to present the concepts to our members and select 3 organizations for each concept: individual giving, corporate giving, and earning income from selling goods and services. And we are going to create like a pilot models out of their experience to provide the knowledge, skills, and everything to do these campaigns for individual and corporate givings. Even create a small project proposal in association with TRAC. And we already talked with the program director of TRAC to give us technical support on this. And through an annual program, we hope to fundraise some money and actually do a case study based on what we agreed here. And hopefully to allow these organizations to continue their collection of funding in years to come. On the other hand, we have a representative of one of the members here, and we talked about the possibility for this organization to give a percentage of these funds to the Secretariat of Coalition, because we are going to provide a lot of skills, knowledge, and stuff like that. And actually, there is an agreement that the members would do that. So in a long term, it could provide some piece of our institutional funding.
Okay, so did you get all the pieces of that? Okay, so step 1 is that they are going to present some of these same concepts, some probably in more depth because you guys have the knowledge. And then they're going to choose 2 or 3 pilot members of the coalition to try out some of these revenue sources and create case studies around that will benefit everybody in this room and beyond. And then they are going to ask those same members to devote a percentage of the money that they raise through these experiments with revenue sources to support the Secretariat itself. So, what I'm going to come back to you with is we know the when. The when starts, they have a meeting scheduled anyway, so the when starts next Friday. Who is going to present this to them? Is that going to be you?
Well, 4 of us.
Okay, here's a caution. Here's a caution. When you put down the who, don't put down staff. Don't put down the four of us. I love you, but no. Put down a person who's going to have primary responsibility. A person who's going to be held accountable. Okay? I bet some of you guys who are all about accountability out there in the world are not as good about accountability inside. That's just the way we are, right? So this is what accountability is about. So try to put down one actual person's name who's going to be responsible. And that person can be responsible for organizing the rest of a team. Doesn't mean they have to do all the work themselves. But it means, as we say, the buck stops here. This is the person who's ultimately accountable. And then break down the steps as finely as possible, which I did hear you doing. Okay? Break down those steps. I mean to make a phone call to so-and-so. All right? If that's the first step, put it down and say who's going to do it and by when, etc., etc., etc. Questions, comments, issues. We're 4 minutes over time. I don't like being over time, but questions or comments or issues. Understood? This is straightforward enough? Okay, then I think the only thing standing between you... Did you have a question? No. The only thing standing between you and lunch is the evaluation form. Do they have that in the packets or no? Okay, we're going to pass those around. We're going to ask you to fill them out here and now in the room because we know you won't do it later. Thank you.